Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 230, entitled Predictions for E3 2021. My name is Steve, but I am also joined by our amazing co-hosts, as always, Barry and Greg. Thanks for joining us. Barry, how's it going?
It's going well. It's been a busy 2 weeks, not only in gaming but just in life, and just looking forward to sitting here and talking video games with you guys.
Absolutely. And Greg, how have you been the last couple weeks?
I'm doing very good. I've been trying to play some catch up, and then all those Switch Pro rumors are going rampant. So that's got me beyond excited.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. So we're going to talk about our predictions tonight for E3 2021. We'll talk a little rumors as well, of course, because that just kind of just mixes in there. Of course, there has been several news things that have happened the last couple weeks. So we're going to be chatting about and some stuff that kind of hits a little close to home with Barry's other like side venture. In addition to his NintendoFuse stuff, he's got his publishing company. So we'll get to hear all about what Premium Edition Games has been up to, and they had a video. If you haven't checked it out, you should do that. We're going to be talking about later. But quite a bit of things we're going to talk about in this episode of the podcast. If you are brand new, thank you so much for joining us. Hit that subscribe button on wherever you're listening in, whether it's your favorite podcast app or service out there. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube live or after the fact. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, the bells, all those different things that are out there to just sign up, and be sure to also share it with other people. That's a huge help to us, and we just love growing this community. So make sure you do all those things. That just helps us, and we would be so grateful. If you have not done so yet, please join us on social media. You can find us at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Great place to join our community. And speaking of our community, you should also join our Discord. It's a great place to chat in between our episodes. You'll see the link on the screen, and also in the show notes in the podcast, but also in the description here on YouTube. And just a great way for you guys to connect to each other, for us to connect with you, and we just love our growing audience. Speaking of our audience, we have a live audience right now in our chat, because we do record these episodes live on YouTube, so you can tune in when we record them on Tuesday evenings, 8:30 Eastern time and 5:30 Pacific time, and you figure out the ones in between, which includes Greg and I. We'd love for you guys to join us live when we do that. Our next podcast, actually, just a programming note, our next episode, so episode 231, if you do want to tune in live, we're going to be an hour earlier than normal. So those times that I just told you are not going to apply next time. So we're actually going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time and 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So just an hour earlier than normal for episode 231 if you want to tune in live. And that episode, we're going to talk all about our reactions to E3. So by that point, E3 will be kind of in the rearview mirror, and we're going to be talking all about what we saw, what we heard, and discuss that all in episode 231. If you are joining us live, we'd love to know what you guys think about any of the things that we talk about in this episode. So be sure to throw your comments, your thoughts, what you've been playing, all those different things in the live chat. But if you're watching after the fact, you can still do that in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think about everything that we talk about tonight, especially your predictions. So get those ready. Before we jump into any of our predictions, any of the news, any of that stuff, let's talk about what we have been playing. And first, we're going to go to Barry. Barry, what have you been up to?
I have not had as much time to play games this past 2 weeks due to real life and doing some major renovations on my game room and trying to get some stuff done. So because of that, I am behind where I would have liked to have been. But I'm just going to start it off with PS4. I'm still playing Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. I'm towards the end of the game. I really had planned to have beaten this game by then, but I just did not get as much time to play it. It's still fantastic. This is a great series, and I look forward to finishing the rest of the games. But if you like the Phoenix Wright style visual novels mixed with the Zero Escape style visual novels, definitely give this one a shot. Another reason I haven't had as much time to play that is on the PC end. Final Fantasy XIV got a major update with patch 5.55. Lots of new content that I'm actually interested in, so I've been playing that a little bit more than usual. And on the mobile end, I'm still doing Dragalia Lost and Mario Kart Tour. As for the Switch, still doing Animal Crossing, although just really more maintenance login. I did like the May thing with the museums and stuff like that. I played a little bit of Fighting EX Layer, Another Dash, which on the Switch is free. But you only get 4 characters, but I played through the arcade and it played really well. It was a lot of fun. Interestingly, Terry from Fatal Fury is here. And for those that don't know Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, Smash Brothers is in the game, but he is not one of the 4 playable characters via the free version. But I don't know if it's still free, but I decided to check that out. I also played Sakura Sucubus 1 and 2, which I'll be talking about a little more detail in a bit, as well as Awesome P 1 and 2. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, and Steve did allude to this, that I am working with Premium Edition Games to publish physical games for the Switch that are normally digital. And Awesome P 1 and 2 are 2 of the games on our Pigeon Dev Games collection. And for those of you that have ordered that and did get the deluxe, which is the biggest version, they're still waiting for their copy. We've had to wait for ships to come in, and things are finally starting to come in. But I wanted to show off to you guys, I got the deluxe box. And what's really cool is this. This is something else. So I wanted to show this off to you guys. This is awesome, and it's pretty hefty in terms of size, and it is gorgeous. And inside of this, you'll see this is what you get. This is a slip case. So this whole thing, everything just slips right out. And the first thing you'll get is this Neo Geo size case. And inside here, you'll get the Retro Edition, which is in an NES box, as well as the Steelbook, the soundtrack, a pin, the actual game itself. A bunch of goodies will be in this. This is right now empty because this is just the versions they sent us to check and make sure that everything's going well. However, in addition to that, with all the games, you're going to get our premium guide. And this, if you've ever used like a strategy guide on video games before, you know the joy of like sitting there playing with the guide open. You don't really get that these days with the internet. This guide is a hardcover. It is shiny and glossy. The pages are lined with silver, all sides. Has a bookmark ribbon, and inside, I'll show you some pages. It is complete for all 4 games. You're getting the guide for all 4 games, information, anything you need to know, but you're not just getting that. So if you go into, I think it's the beginning of the book, you actually get an interview with the developer and the history behind the games and how they got created to begin with. But then if you go to the very back, you also get the history of the physical and how this whole package came to be, everyone involved, how, you know, the concept art stuff that was never actually used, like the original cover and stuff like that. It's just really cool. So this is actually a full telling and history on the entire Pigeon Dev Games collection, the games as well as the physical product. And we still have some of these in stock, or at least ready to be ordered, but they are running out. And I just want to show people this is really cool stuff and high quality. So I thought that'd be really cool to show off. And if you haven't got it yet, I think once people start getting them in hand, unboxing them, I do think they will sell out quickly. So if you are a physical collector like myself, you like that old school guides, I do recommend checking them out. But I did want to show that with you because that just arrived last week.
Nice. That's really cool. Greg, what have you been up to over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm still doing Animal Crossing as Barry said it's pretty much maintenance mode. I just did like the museum thing once so I can have the art trophy from doing the stamp rally. So that was pretty much it. I ordered myself the cheese wheel, and it was just like kind of doing over some light weeding, and that was basically about it. Or still not really doing too much more with the island, and it's just kind of very slow and painful maintenance. So it is it there. I gave the Metopia demo a shot. I didn't play it on the 3DS, but I did download it for free on the Switch. My daughter was actually very interested to try it. She's like, "Oh, Daddy, what's this game?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a free demo." And like, "Oh, download it on mine." So she's already beaten the demo like 4 times, and I went through the entire demo once on my own Switch just so I could just say that I've also played the demo, but she's has a lot of fun creating different me characters for all the different roles, and then she's already adapted to the battle system to figure out like, oh, this is kind of how you use the different jobs, and she's already played as all the jobs already. So it's kind of neat. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. So it might be something that we look into more down the road, or maybe we'll just get the copy from the library to continue on forward when it arrives in a few weeks. So we'll see where to go from there. Then I also finally jumped into Age of Calamity. Haven't played it since the demo, which was right around when the game came out. What kind of sparked this is there was like a very quick deal. If you happen to have an Australia account, you could get the expansion pass for free. So I kind of wanted to actually have a chance to finally play the game. So um, I got through the first few missions and I got Daruk on my side, and it was pretty fun controlling the giant divine beast, which is something you don't really even get to do in the original game. So definitely looking forward to helping out the other 3 champions and continuing on there in the weeks to come. A few more games I've been playing with my daughter are Splatoon 2 and Among Us. So, I mean, we finally got into playing a few more multiplayer matches and being in the same room, and it's kind of fun going through there. It's pretty much just kind of leveling up a few more times. I'm up to like level 7 finally. So, as I've said on previous podcasts, I normally haven't played multiplayer, but now it's my chance to finally level up a little bit. And then she was we got back into Among Us for some reason, so we were trying that out and downloaded the update. And again, we were in the same room and no one really knew what was going on. They like updated it to make it easier to do the chat options, but it's also kind of complex in a way. They made like a wheel, kind of like the Mario Maker items, so then you can kind of like sort by like statements, responses, and accusations and other things, and so it makes it a little bit easier, but it's also kind of harder to navigate to kind of figure out which options are where. So
Like a quick chat kind of thing.
yeah, and plus they use like the actual player's name, so you have to kind of know what color they are as well, because normally I felt like the last time I played was like, oh, it's green, and that's much easier than trying to remember like, oh, this was player 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like
Right. That's kind of the whole point of there being just different colored people, because that's easier just to call them by their color.
yeah, so a lot of the times I'd be in the middle of writing a message like, oh wait, who was it again? Like, oh, I have to go. Oh yeah, it was white, and white is player XYZ, and like so I go back in and change it, so it makes it kind of harder to communicate in a way. But other than that, it was still kind of fun to play in the same room, and I got to be the imposter and killed everyone but my daughter. So then she got to be on the ship with me, just the 2 of us together. So imposter won. um, then pretty much a few of the same ones from last time. 3DS still playing Sacred Stones. Got up to chapter 10 on both the Erica route and Ephraim route. So just having a chance to replay that from the Game Boy Advanced games we got forever ago. And then still on mobile, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes and still plugging away at Mario Run. I got all the purple coins, and I have a nice fancy purple coin badge next to my name. And now I've also passed Steve in the list of total number of toads. So I'm finally number 3 on my friends list, only behind Barry and look at Twitter. Someone else I play that have like over 10,000 toads. So now the 3rd highest.
Nice. You'll catch me, I'm sure, because I haven't played it in years.
Yep. Nice. Cool. Well, let's go to the chat real quick and see what they've been up to. Looks like, yeah, if you guys are already talking quite a bit over here. Jesse Glenn says all he can say is play the messenger. So great, and DLC is phenomenal. Also, Jakester said he's been playing a lot of Xenoblade, and then the newest Fate Grand Order events, Genshin Impact events, and that's kind of it. Dave says he's been playing Persona 5 Strikers and Famicom Detective Club, and started playing Mad Max on the PS4. And Jakester also did some grinding in Dragon Quest 11 to get some Jade's OP skills. Nice. So yeah, if you haven't yet, let us know what you've been playing in the chat, or you can let us know after the fact in the comments. As I was telling the guys before we started recording, my list is a lot longer this week. It's usually just Rocket League, but yes, I haven't been playing Rocket League, but I broke away from Rocket League and got some time with some other games. So I did try out 2 demos. Games that I had said on previous podcasts that I really wanted to check out. So one of those is R-Type Final 2. And the demo is so stinking short, it's ridiculous. And it's basically like, I think how I would describe R-Type Final 2 is it's a really pretty version of past R-Type games with some extra stuff that's probably not needed. Like cutscenes. I don't really need cutscenes in R-Type. Just let me shoot the ships and the aliens and move on to the next level. I don't need all that stuff. And then there's like all this like museum, and you can have all the, customize your ships and all that stuff and everything. It's cool, but like I just want to shmup. Like that's why I play R-Type. So that's cool, but it's a lot of extra stuff that probably didn't need to be in there. And the Final 2 also, like, it just seems like it's very similar to past R-Type games. Like it's kind of recycling a lot of stuff too. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm in it and I'm getting the full thing, but as I've said before, it's great that the demos do exist. Speaking of demos, I don't think you can actually find this demo anymore. But luckily, I guess, I don't know what the correct word for that is. But anyway, I already had it on my Switch. And we talked about this game how long ago? Like 3 months ago, maybe?
March, I think it was.
It was at least 2 months ago, if not 3.
February, March.
And Jakester had some strong feelings about this game. And so now I've checked out the demo of Balan Wonderland. And yeah. Wonderworld, sorry. I always do that. Even when I was like searching for it yesterday to see if the demo still existed, I searched for Wonderland. So Balan Wonderworld, yeah. I can't really say much that has not been said before. I wrote this down because I felt like this was this is the exact same. This is the thought that came to my mind when I was playing this. This is the best produced shovelware game on the Switch. That's exactly what I felt when I was playing this thing. The cinematics, oh my gosh, the cinematics are fantastic, but the game is awful. Like, I just want the cinematics alone. They're polished. They look amazing. I don't understand a thing of what's going on in this game. It's weird. But I'll chalk that up. It's just, it's a weird experience. I don't understand everything, but the cinematics, oh my gosh. And so as I'm watching them, I'm getting into, like, I already was turned off a little bit by the menu, like, and that's weird when it says like when you're going through a menu of a game and you're like, I'm already kind of turned off. The menu experience is awful. Again, ABXY only does select, B doesn't go back. It's just awful. But then the cinematics start in, and I'm like, I don't know what people are talking about. This game looks fantastic. And then it all fades away when the gameplay kicks in. And it's just so confusing and weird. And And yeah, the whole button, I don't know why would you do such a thing and make just every button on the controller do the same thing? That doesn't make any sense. And the frame rate drops, and I was about ready to puke about halfway into the first chapter.
With the
But
level popping in like that as you
oh
walked.
yeah, it was. Oh man, and yeah, I'm like, I'd want the camera just a little bit high. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, I had a similar experience to everybody else, and it's really sad
The
that they took
music's
away
good.
the demo. The music's really good, and the cinematics are really good. Like Jakester said in the chat, it would make an amazing silent movie. It really would. Um,
Well,
so
if the
yeah,
music is good, maybe not necessarily silent, it would just probably just make a better
Well,
movie than
silent
an
is
actual
in lack
game.
of dialogue.
right,
Silent
right,
movies still has, you can still do
yeah.
musical.
So that's Jakester asked, "What about the rumble going nuts when other levels open up?" Yep, yeah. It's just it's weird. And then there's like these spots that just pop up in the background. I thought I was supposed to like it was trying to like say, "Oh, go over there." No, I think they're just like in time with the music, but it has nothing to do with what's going on. And the NPCs are just like there, and then they disappear when you walk up by them.
Yep.
You think you're supposed to talk to them, but no. And then all of a sudden, the farmer turns into this monster. It's just weird. But I can get weird. I can get behind that if it made sense in some way. But then the gameplay just like was horrible, and so yeah.
What did you think of the bow and QuickTime events?
They just came out of nowhere. Like I guess it made it make sense, but then all of a sudden I was like, what? And it doesn't really matter. I guess. I mean, in the demo, I guess it wouldn't really matter. I guess maybe in the game, but like I accidentally messed up and I was done, kicked out, moved on, because I just accidentally hit one of the buttons. Although it tells you B, you can hit any of them. So because I accidentally hit A or something like that, and it just it's just dumb. So don't pick up the game, and it's really unfortunate you can't try the demo anymore unless you have it already. Anyway, I spent way too much time talking about that game because I've also I did a little mini review of the Balan Wonderworld demo. Also played some Knockout City, and I know you guys told me that it was a game I was probably going to enjoy. I didn't really think I was going to. You were right. I was wrong. And I had a lot of fun with it. I'm already leveled up to, I think, level 5 or whatever. I only spent maybe an hour or two playing. But yeah, it's a really fun game. And really enjoying it. Playing it on Xbox because, excuse me. Yeah, I don't think it'd be a good game on Switch at all. Excuse me. I need to take a drink.
Clearly, it has you all choked up. I'm glad you liked it, though. I figured you would when I saw the trailer. I was like, that's a game Steve would probably enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He's almost dying over there. Look at that.
I am.
Knockout City. See, he's knocked out.
Knocked the wind right out of
Swallowed
him.
wrong.
Shazam.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, played some Knockout City and also played a game that we're going to get to talk about in next episode. Sorry, quite a bit. Good thing is Barry's going to be talking in just a second, and I can recover while he's talking. But played long ago a Puzzle Tale as well. So got a couple hours in with that, and yeah, we're going to be talking about that a lot in the next episode. So Barry, yeah, bail me out, and I'm going to hopefully get my voice to recover, and you can talk about a couple games that you've been playing in a little review here in the podcast.
Yes. So what we've been doing lately is we've been doing these game chat reviews during the podcast over the past few episodes, and this one's no different. In fact, this one's actually going to be two games. So Gamuzumi reached out to me. They did the Legend of Talia game that I reviewed 2 episodes back, and they said, "Hey, would you like to review our latest game?" I said, "Sure, why not?" So they sent me a code for Sakura Sucubus. And this company does visual novels, which is what this is, and a lot of them are lewd. So I was really expecting this to be nothing but a lewd story with lewd images. And while they were lewd images, there was actually more decent than I expected in terms of the quality of the images, like I was like, all right, is this going to be like downright pornographic? And it wasn't. Like it showed nothing really pornographic, which I was very shocked about. The story is also not what I was expecting. When I think of a succubus, I think of a standard, demon woman who will lure a man in, have sex with them and kill them. So I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen with this? And you play the role of a photographer who works for a newspaper, and you're tasked with covering a concert and for a Japanese idol, and you're like, oh, you're covering it, and things don't go well. It goes really poorly for you, and you wind up meeting this woman in a bar, and you're talking to the woman and everything, and that one thing leads to another. Two adults, things happen, and it's like, okay, well, that's fine, normal, nothing going wrong. And then the second time you meet this woman, she reveals to you that she's actually a succubus. And I'm like, oh man, this guy's gonna die. This guy is dead. Like I'm just waiting for like the fangs to come out. But no, they actually explain in this world, succubus are a little bit different in the sense that they crave attention, they crave affection, they want power, but they don't want to kill people. They just want affection. And now all these succubus just start coming out of nowhere, and they start glomming onto your main character. And they're like, I was like, wait, hold on. And like my wife starts watching this and she's laughing. She's like, wait, how many does he have at this point? One wants to be a wife, one wants to be a boyfriend, one wants to be a mom. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and they're all vying for this guy's attention. And I'm like, this is actually kind of an enjoyable story because it's funny. Like I can see this being an anime, and it ends in a cliffhanger. Like it ends kind of just like boom, okay, it's over. And I'm like, huh. Like it was about 2.5 hours, so it's not like a terribly long story. There are some choices in this one that actually did better than Legend of Talia, because it does allow you to go backwards. So I'm like, oh, let me go backwards and see if there were differences, and there's actually some differences. Not huge, Mass Effect style differences, but still differences. And it was actually an enjoyable adventure for 2.5 hours, and it actually, I wasn't sure if I was like, I'm going to do both these games. Do I really want to do both these games? I had enough enjoyment after the first game that I was like, all right, I'll start the second. Let's do it, because I had to anyways. But I wasn't dreading it. So the second game that I talked about was Succubus 2. And the second game picks up right when the first one ends. So if you there's like a little bit of a recap, but if you have played the first one, second one picks up, and now there's a new succubus introduced, and it kind of like builds on the lore. Like here's the succubus world, and they start talking about the hierarchy and how the world works, and it's really kind of interesting. And it almost becomes more world building than, let's throw women at this guy. Not saying that doesn't happen, and there's actually a fifth succubus that comes in. So now there's 5 girls all vying for attention, and they're all of different quality, and they're all different, ways they get attention. It's not just like they're not all like sex crazed. And one of the things they do describe is the reason they're all after this guy is because of his scent, which is kind of weird. And my wife saw this and heard that and described it as a male version of Twilight, because apparently like in Twilight the vampires were after Bella because of his scent or something like that. I didn't see it or read the books, but that's what she told me. So if that's wrong, blame her. But that's what this is. It's like this one boy, the character you play, like has this scent, and it just drives these succubus crazy, and they just want his attention. And it's really interesting because of how they actually they carry the story. It's not just like we're just going to throw women for no reason. They're all popular in their own way. They're all working to as humans to really do jobs. One's, like I said, one's an idol, one's a businesswoman, one's a media star, like a social media star, one's a tennis player, one's an actress. So they have that love and affection from humans naturally, just without sex involved. But there's still sex scenarios, and there's definitely suggestive things and suggestive images. And it's almost comical. You can't really take it seriously. You just have to take it as this is like a anime, like a funny anime. And it does again lead into a cliffhanger for the third game, which I don't know if the third game's done yet, or if it's on Switch, or if they want to reach out to me and say, "Oh, here's the third game." I mean, I would actually do it because like they're teased more world building in the third game, and I'm not gonna say any spoilers in case you want to do it. This one I feel is about the same length, 2.5, maybe 3 hours. But again, it's really mostly reading with a few choices, and it was entertaining. It was more entertaining than I expected it to be, and it was definitely more entertaining to me than The Legend of Talia, which I reviewed from them first.
Nice, nice. Well, thanks to the developers and publishers for getting us those review codes and for giving Barry a chance to get those reviews out. And yeah, maybe we'll see some more from future games that way as well. Um, yeah, Jakester has some thoughts around this whole game as well. And then
Yeah, that's another thing. Like it's on the Switch, so
yeah,
it's not going to be like truly pornographic. Nintendo had to approve this game.
right, right. However, we do know that if you didn't notice, like all those games, there. It's funny actually. The first one I think is rated. It shows rated M, but then the trailer says it's rated T, so I don't really get it. But the second one's definitely rated M for both of them. So just take note. I know we have some younger listeners as well, and and all those things. So
Yeah, this is not for like the kid to definitely play, but I'd say teenager or something. I could see fun. I could see this even being done as like a rom-com almost, like just like through Ryan Reynolds as the guy and just have women just throwing themselves. Why are all these women throwing themselves at me and all that stuff? And I could see it actually being a type of comedic movie, just what's going on. But it is interesting with the world building. And like I said, I'll admit when I went into this, I'm thinking this is not going to be fun. This is going to be like 4 to 5 hours of my time that I'm probably not going to get back, and I'm doing it for the sake of review, and I was entertained. So I didn't like look at the clock and go, when is this over? I was like, oh, this is actually kind of entertaining as a funny story, taking it for what it is, not anything else, but like this is just funny scenarios.
yeah, absolutely. Also, just as another programming note as well, exciting news. We have a giveaway. We're going to be giving some more information on our social media. So if you haven't followed us on social media, I'll put those links up again at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're specifically going to do this one on our Twitter. So if you haven't followed us on at NintendoFuse on Twitter, be sure you do that. But Barry, give us a little more information about what game are we going to give away and what is this game about?
Yeah, so we are going to give away a game that you actually talked about, Steve. We're going to be giving away Long Ago, a puzzle tale. It is a puzzle action game. I haven't had a chance to play it because I've been busy. You're the one who actually played it, but it looks really, really cool. It just came out May 28th, so last week as of the time of this recording. And the developers reached out to us. They said, hey, would you like to review the game? And we all have codes, so we're all going to be playing it for the next episode. And they were very kind enough to say, hey, we have a code. Would you like to give away to your listeners? And we were, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be doing a Twitter giveaway.
Yeah. And yeah, so you can check out our Twitter to see how you can win that game. And we're going to, yeah, we're announcing it right now. We'll put out the details maybe later tonight or tomorrow at the latest. But yeah, it'd be one of those. Find the game or find the tweet, retweet it, like it, all that stuff, and you'll get entered in there. All those details are going to be at NintendoFuse. So if it's not up at the time that you're listening to this, it will be very, very soon. And if you do those things to get qualified, we will pick the winner on our next episode. So episode 231, we'll pick that winner, announce it live, and yeah, hopefully maybe that will be you. So if you are interested in the game, make sure you do check out their site and everything. You can find out more information about the game. But yeah, you might actually get a chance to win it if you follow us on Twitter. So thanks again to the developers, publishers for making that available for you all, our listeners. Just spoiler alert. It's we'll get into our full review next episode, but it's a fun game. It's especially if you like puzzles. So, all right. Well, now it's time to turn our attention toward E3. It is almost E3 time. Last year, we did not have this experience. We didn't have the opportunity to discuss what we think is going to happen at E3, but lo and behold, E3 has returned June 12th through the 15th. It's going to be happening online. But it's still happening. So we're going to talk about our predictions, and maybe some of those predictions are going to bring up some rumors and kind of discussion around all of that. And then eventually we'll get into some of the other news that's happened. But we wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight just kind of talking about our predictions, expectations of what we hope to see at E3 2021. So each of us have 3 predictions. We're going to kind of go through just one at a time, and some of them might spark some discussion. There may be some that we agree on. There may be some things that we disagree on. So just going to be a fun discussion. If you guys have any of your own predictions or hopes, dreams, things you're excited for around E3 2021, make sure you let us know in the live chat, but also you can let us know in the comments after the fact. And also Discord, social media, all those sort of things as well. But Barry, you want to get us kicked off with what you're hoping for, or your predictions? I don't know. I guess that could be the same thing, but not necessarily. They're not mutually exclusive. Predictions for E3. Give us one of them, Barry.
So I feel last year without E3 2020. The Mario 35th presentation that we had, the Mario 35th Direct, was supposed to be earlier. I feel like it was supposed to be in an E3, and they just kind of pushed it towards the September just because that's when things were going to come out. So I do really feel this time, as part of the presentation, there will at least be one celebration of an anniversary, one little section devoted, whether it be Zelda, Metroid, or anything else. I do feel we will see the equivalent of what Mario 35 had in the E3 presentation. So if it's, maybe you'll extend it instead of like a 30-minute presentation, 45 or an hour long, however long they do it. But I do feel a section of that will be devoted to some type of anniversary.
Nice. Yeah. Probably Zelda. Would you say if you had to put money on it?
I'd say Zelda would be stronger just because of Breath of the Wild 2. However, there's also Metroid Prime 4, so both of those games have strong possibilities. And then Donkey Kong, I think, is an anniversary as well this year. I think it's the 40th, if I'm not mistaken. There's the rumor of a new Donkey Kong game, and there's a couple games or series have anniversaries this year. So who knows?
Okay. Sounds good. Greg, how about one from you?
All right. Well, this is my 3 wants that I put on for mine that I'll be going through. So I don't know how realistic all of them are. They're just stuff that I would obviously love to see. So with that preface, I guess piggybacking onto the Zelda, I really think we'll get a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer and also a release date /window period. So I'm thinking that it will probably be a holiday 2021 title. I think based on the rumors and stuff that I've heard, I think it's pretty much about ready to go. And I think they kind of learned how they introduced the first one, and then it was like years before like we even really saw anything else and all that jazz. So they only had that little teaser this time around, and now it's probably gonna get flushed out and be included in the E3 show this year.
Nice. Yeah. Jixter just says, let's hope it's better than the mess that Summer Games Fest was last year. I think it should be. I hope so. Let's see. As far as my predictions go, normally it's funny that I'm looking at them and going, well, some of them could have been considered safer than others, but I feel like in a way they're almost all safe now, except for maybe one of them. But I'm going to go with one that I actually, this is a prediction for 2021 that we made several episodes ago. I'm just going to bring it back. I think Game Boy Advance is going to be announced for Switch Online. I think SNES was announced at E3 past. I think Game Boy Advance would be the next one, and it makes sense to announce that this year. So Game Boy Advance moving to Switch Online, and maybe they'd have some fun and launch it with the same games that we got for the ambassador program or something like that. But yeah, I think GBA is going to be showing up on the Switch Online, and I think it's going to be like one of those things that today after the presentation, you can you'll be able to find it on the eShop. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Barry, how about you? Next one.
My next one actually ties in that I do think, even though we just had the Nintendo Switch Online games, actually on our last podcast 2 weeks ago when they announced the new NES and SNES games, I do think that this year we will see a brand new system added to Nintendo Switch Online, except I didn't go as far to say Game Boy or Game Boy Advance. I'm not sure. It could be N64, it could be Game Boy, it could be Virtual Boy for all I know. But I do think that we will see that. And there's a chance that if that happens, there might be an increase to the Nintendo Switch Online yearly rate and even monthly rate and all that stuff, which will probably prompt people going crazy trying to buy existing cards and upping their membership to get grandfathered in.
Nice. Do you have a expected price, or do you want to get that detailed? What do you think they'll go up to?
What is it? It's $20 a year now. I said they'll go up to $30 a year, adding a new system.
Okay. Still,
I really hope that comes with quality life improvements for matchmaking.
Yeah,
and stuff.
that would be nice too.
Just
yeah,
coming with a new edition of the system, and that's it. that's they do that, and then they also say some stability enhancements, and that's about it. So, all right, that makes a lot of sense. I can get behind that, of course. Greg, how about prediction number 2 for you?
I think we'll actually finally get a trailer for Metroid Prime 4. I think it's been in the dark for way too long, and I think it would be a nice return to at least have a better trailer or teaser for it. I think there might be a little caveat saying that, it's got 2022 release or something like that to it or something, but I think it's almost time that we got to see what they've been working on with Metroid Prime.
Okay. So we're just gonna a trailer, just seeing it. No release date. You think?
Yeah, no precise. If it's anything, it'll just be 2022 or 2023 or whatever they'll show. But I don't think they usually do about 2 years in advance. So that's what I was thinking. 2022, just generic, and then people can't say you said it was gonna be in January 2022 or holiday 2022.
Okay.
Who really knows?
And we just, I forget, when was the last announcement that we got that said that they were kind of restarting everything?
I think it was January 18.
Has it been that long?
It was either 18 or 19.
Wow. Okay. I was worried that enough time hadn't passed, but if it was that long ago, yes, I agree with you. I just can't believe it's been that long.
No, I think it was 19 because I think they announced it in 18 at E3.
Okay, so by that point it'd be 2.5 years. So yeah, we could at least get a teaser or something.
Some sort of either cinematic or some very light gameplay stuff, like Sam was battling some spice pirates or whatever.
Nice. Okay, cool. My next 2 predictions are actually, they kind of go hand in hand, and so I kind of am going to be forced to do one before the other, even though it's just going to happen to go that way. But this is what has become, I believe, probably a safe prediction, and I wouldn't have said this several months ago, but I think the Switch predecessor is going to be announced at E3. It's kind of, the writing is on the wall everywhere you look right now. It is the worst kept secret in Nintendo's history, I feel like. So if it's not announced, it's one of those things it probably will be soon after because everything is pointing toward it. So I'm gonna say it's announced, and I think it's also coming out this holiday. I think they're gonna jump on it, and I think that's gonna be able to help them just kind of leapfrog, hopefully leapfrog anything that space that they've missed. Anytime they've missed out by these other systems coming out. But yeah, whatever they end up calling it, Super Switch 2 Pro, new XD, supersize, I don't know, whatever. But I think it's it's going to be announced, and I think it's coming out holiday 2021. Because I think that time frame, they're used to that. They won't stretch it out too far because it could kind of kill sales of the existing Switch. But they don't want to do it too close because you need some lead time and everything. So as long as all the processing, the chips and all that stuff will line up, I think they're going to announce it and release it this holiday.
Yeah, I think earlier in the chat I put the exact name: New Super Nintendo Switch Pro DS 64U XL Lite.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. All right. Barry, number 3.
All right, number 3. So my prediction is that we will see an older IP return or a brand new IP from Nintendo. I think they've been pretty brazen with new IPs, between ARMS and obviously Splatoon, and just coming out there with brand new stuff. The game's creator, a Ring Fit Adventure. So we're either going to see something brand new we've never seen before, Nintendo just putting out a brand new character, or we will see something that people have been clamoring for: F-Zero, Star Fox, maybe Star Tropics if I can get my wish. But I think we'll see, at least in some format, an older IP, one or the other.
Okay. Sounds good.
So even though Star Fox had a game last generation, that's still included in your umbrella?
Yes, it is, because Star Fox Zero was not well received. Star Fox Guard was a spin-off, and the only Star Fox since was the Starlink, which was awesome. I really enjoyed Starlink. I loved the Star Fox inclusion there, and that bombed so terribly. And it wasn't truly a Star Fox game. It was a better Star Fox game than Star Fox Zero, in my opinion. But I want to see them do that properly. No toys of life, just Star Fox 3D open world, flying into planets like that, nano planets. That was so cool. I want to see something like that, truly.
Yeah. The other day I was at Dollar Tree and saw some Starlink characters. I was like, oh, that's really too bad.
Yeah, and I bought them all at launch.
In the discount bin at Walmart or wherever, it's in the Dollar Tree. And I think it was like 2 for 1.
And it's a great game. It really is a fun game.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, people should definitely check it out. And you could probably get it at a big discount right now.
Yeah.
Like those,
Dave says Mock Rider Revival. Okay.
Just like those Animal Crossing amiibo for Amiibo Festival, they all just tanked because of that.
Yeah, but now they're valuable again.
I know. Yep. That's because of New Horizons. So you have that to thank for that.
Absolutely. All right, Greg, number 3.
All right. So I made this prediction at the beginning of the year for this year, 2021, in our January podcast. So I'm still doubling down that we're going to get a Fire Emblem Echoes game this year. I have a feeling they're going to be announcing it. I'm feeling it's going to be either Binding Blade, the first one to come to the US, or if they're continuing in chronological order, that would be Genealogy of the Holy War would be the next in line to have its first game over here in the West. So I'm really thinking we'll get some more Fire Emblem news this year for Switch.
All right. And then, so for my final one, I think that's similar. Actually, it kind of hits 2 of the things you talked about, Greg. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to come this holiday, and I think it's going to be a launch title for the next Switch. So I think that's going to be their big, powerful one. I don't know. I think they'll probably be able to pull it off on the existing Switch and say it's backward compatible or something like that, but it's going to have some extra enhanced features, maybe, be able to bump up to the 4K or constant 60 frames per second, or who knows, maybe 75, who knows. But yeah, I think that's going to be the big thing is Breath of the Wild 2 is they're going to try to get that to sell the new Switch. Breath of the Wild 1 helped sell the old or the existing Switch, even outsold the Switch for a long time. So I think they're going to see if they can actually get that same kind of success this time around, and not Metroid Prime 4. Like I don't think I think they're gonna still, it's gonna be in the distant future. I think it's gonna be a thing that that we see. I think that's a safe bet, Greg, in terms of like a cinematic or something like that. But I think Prime 4 is still in the distant future. I think that's a game where we're gonna probably, I don't know. I don't even know if 2022 anymore. It might be a 2023 game at this point.
Oh boy.
I feel like they're just gonna keep polishing that thing like crazy. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a 2D Metroid game in the meantime. I think they may try to hold us over, and maybe that's one of the games that that Retro has been working on as well, as a 2D game. That maybe
What
that's
about
they've been,
Mercury Steam?
or maybe them too. Yeah. So
They did Samus Returns.
yeah. So we'll see. I just think it may be the game that that you've been waiting on to hear from Retro to see what they're up to the last 3 years. So maybe they've been working on a 2D game that we never know about.
Maybe that. Yeah, I still want to know what they've been truly working on.
Yeah, kind of a 2-for-1. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming this year. Metroid Prime is in the distant future.
Do you think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have a Switch Pro shop to copy the Oracle games where they had the Advanced shop, which only worked if you played it on a Game Boy Advance? Have like a Switch Pro shop only available if you're playing it on the Switch Pro?
You know, I didn't know that it had that, but
Yeah, Oracle Games, there's an Advanced shop that sold rings, and the only way to get into that door is you got to play it on a Game Boy Advance. If you played it on a Game Boy Color, the door would not open.
that would be kind of cool, actually, if they brought something like that. So normally I would say no, but if they did in the past, actually,
Yep.
I'm leaning toward yes.
Well, they didn't do it for Breath of the Wild 1, which had a Wii U version and a Switch version.
Or the same thing for
Twilight
Princess, I guess, too. So
Yeah, Twilight Princess also, yeah.
yeah, so it would make sense if like for the last 3 Zelda or 2, I guess, Zelda games, they've done that whole crossover thing. So, and they've consistently done it for previous games too. So, yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense if Breath of the Wild 2 did come out with a Switch Pro or whatever it ends up being. Jared says that he definitely sees that happening the same day, and definitely backward compatible with the current Switch as well. Yeah, I think the big question is, and of course we have no idea, but like, are these the next Switch games, Switch Pro, whatever it ends up being called, are they going to be like enhanced kind of games like some of them are when they do that, or are they going to be separate packaged games? Of course, the downloadable ones will be a different story, but the packaged game, the physical games, are they going to be 2 separate things that will just be enhanced when you play it on the new Switch, or is it going to be the same? I just actually explained that wrong. It's going to be the same package that's going to be enhanced, or is it going to be 2 completely separate SKUs, I guess? What do you guys think?
I think that depends on if they qualify the Switch Pro as a brand new system or as like a new 3DS, or a DSi, because any game that was 3DS compatible or DS compatible could play on a DSi or a new 3DS just fine, and it ran better on the better hardware. It was the exclusive stuff for DSi or the exclusive stuff for new 3DS that the card specifically had those systems labeled and would not play on the older systems. So I do think if, in fact, they qualify this as just like an up step like that, it'll be one card that will just run better on the Switch Pro, kind of like the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X. You get the one disc and it has both versions, or the PS4 that has the PS5 upgrade available, kind of deal.
Gotcha. Unless they, like it's a specific for the
specific Switch Pro only.
Yeah, that makes sense. Greg?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna copy. I just almost feel like it's gonna be a next gen based on how like people are saying the chip for this regular Switch isn't even really made anymore. So it almost feels like it has to be a successor, but I guess you don't really know for sure these days. I mean, it really depends on what they do with the current model. If it's just like an extension, or it's just part of the same like family they like to say a lot, like the 3DS family of systems. So if it's like the Switch family of systems, then sure, it's going to be working on all three. If it's just going to be Super Switch, then it might need a separate version like Twilight Princess and First Breath of the Wild between two different systems. So
yeah. Jared says that he doesn't believe there'd be separate games, maybe just a patch for the games. He could also see them doing just one game, and if the Switch Pro has DLSS in it, it will just take advantage of that. And so, yeah, I think that's probably going to be the case, unless they change things up completely. They could do a different cartridge style thing again, and only these cartridges fit in there, and they have to do the whole proprietary thing and try to make more money off of us, even though maybe they are basically the same game.
Yeah, I'll have a little extra handle on it, like the 3DS. Like
exactly. And then Barry and his premium edition has to deal with all those things also. And you're like, is this released for Push Pro or is this going to be? Yeah. And then it, just creates all that hassle. That's we don't need Nintendo. We just really don't need it. So
is this the new Switch, the old Switch, or the new Switch 2?
Right.
Oh God.
Right. Yeah.
No. No.
Well, yeah. So that's our predictions. Again, after the fact, you're listening to this, you're watching it. Let us know what you're predicting. E3 is going to be right here before we know it. It starts June 12th. Is that right? The Saturday.
Yeah, I actually wrote down a little bit of a schedule to help people. Not this Saturday, next.
Right. Next
but
Saturday,
but yeah, E3 is actually June 12th to the 15th. However, there's presentations before E3 that you might want to pay attention to. And the first one is on June 10th at 2 p.m., which is the Summer Game Fest 2021 Spectacular World Premiere Showcase of Announcements, which is how they call it. It's with Jeff Keighley. So we don't know what's going to be shown off, but there'll probably be some world premiere stuff for all systems. The next day, June 11th at 4 p.m. is IGN Expo, which is with their exclusive showcase. That's part of the IGN Summer of Gaming. So again, who knows what they're going to show off, but they're both touting world premieres and exclusives. So there could be some cool Nintendo stuff there. Then even though the show starts June 12th, the next announced presentation is actually June 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. Since Xbox or Microsoft bought Bethesda, Bethesda's been lumped in, so who knows if we'll see anything from Bethesda for the Switch there, but could be interesting. June 14th at 4 p.m. Eastern, we will have Limited Run Games Showcase. And there will be probably 90% or so Switch stuff, and we'll see what they're bringing out physically. And then, even though it's not really part of it at all, I just kind of wrote down to remind people that on July 22nd, EA Play Live is happening, because EA just doesn't know how to hit the E3 mark. But we know all that stuff. We're 2 weeks out. We're less than 2 weeks out. We still don't know Nintendo's plans at all, but we do know those other ones. So, if any of that stuff is interesting to you, you want to mark it down. I'm sure we'll be talking about most of those showcases next time anyway, but stuff to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we have plans to talk about E3, of course, on the next podcast. We're hoping that by that point, Nintendo has made their announcements. It's the evening of the last day of E3. Hoping that Nintendo has done their presentation by that point. I'm thinking it's probably, I wonder if they're going to try to stick with that Tuesday schedule. But now that E3 starts on a Saturday, I mean, maybe they would do it on a Saturday. I don't know, because it's usually the first day of E3.
They like the Treehouse too. They've done Treehouse during COVID. They can do Treehouse that whole time too. Yeah. We don't know the schedule.
That's a good point.
We don't know anything of even E3's planned schedule. At least I haven't seen anything of E3's planned schedule. These are just the ones that at least I've seen.
Yeah, I think they just. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I thought Nintendo normally sends out like when this stuff is like well in advance. Like I thought like when we knew it was going to be like a Breath of the Wild themed E3 that they said that back in April. But
Usually, yeah.
I mean, I understand with COVID and everything, but I'm kind of surprised even by today, June 1st, that it's hasn't even had anything like, oh, our digital event will take place on this.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all they
probably
have
going
to
to drop
say, and then
tomorrow.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
it's like
right
podcast
after.
is great with like that.
That's right. Just
We'll
looking
wake
at the
up tomorrow
chat.
morning, they'll be like, oh, by the way, there's a...
That's exactly what's
Right
going to
after we
happen.
finish recording tonight.
Right. We get an email. Everybody be checking stuff just in case. We'll go live with exclusive right now. Let's just look at the chat real quick before we move into this week's news. We have some people saying that Dave says a new WarioWare game would be really nice. We agree with that. Also, Jared wants a new Chibi Robo game. That'd be kind of cool to go in that direction as well. But yeah, most likely, Jakester is agreeing with us. Yeah, it's probably going to be right after, or actually, they do it right after our next podcast. So yeah, they drop it the Wednesday right after. Yeah.
Well, they did
E3
show
and
like
everything.
E3 like sponsors, like Nintendo and Microsoft are like the top two sponsors for E3.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have something.
Right. And then they normally are like they're on the lanyards if you actually go to E3 when back when they used to do that. But Nintendo is always the one that sponsored like big time sponsors E3. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me and cool to see that they're still present, even though we have no idea what their plans are. So stay tuned to NintendoFuse.com and our social media because we're definitely going to be posting that. Probably Dave will be the one posting it as soon as it happens because he's been killing it on our blog. So make sure you check that out, NintendoFuse.com. Some of that news we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's jump into our this week's news articles and stuff that we're going to be discussing. And Barry, how about you take it away with this first one about One Print Games?
Yeah, so this past week has really been almost like a mini E3. There's been a lot of presentations, so it's been very exciting just because there's so much going on. And the first presentation earlier this week, or earlier last week, I should say, was from One Print Games. They worked with Switch Watch, which is a YouTube channel, to showcase their next 3 titles. For those that don't know, One Print Games is a publishing company that brings digital games to physical media, and they put out 3 games previously and they were quiet for a while, so now they're suddenly back. And the 3 games they showed off, the first one was NeoCab, which is available right now, which looks cool. It's like you're a taxi driver and you listen to people's stories, and depending on how you deal with the stories, like seems like the whole story changes, which I like. I think that's a really cool idea. The second game, which was probably for me my personal highlight, was called Eternal Radiance. Never saw it before. It's like a 3D action RPG. It just looks really, really cool. The style of the graphics don't even look indie. It almost looks like AA type, and neat to see this actually come out physically. And the last one is a first person. It looks like a detective game called Paradise Killer, and again, just it's really, really tough to get your game out there in the physical media, and to see these 3 titles now get there from One Print. These are not they're not American. They are, I believe, Asian, but they are fully in English and support English. And since the Switch is region free, feel free to pick them up. Like I said, NeoCab is available right now as their first game of these 3-pack. They previously did Carol Blaster, It'll Do, and Death Squared. So some of those might still be available as well. But it's just great to see. Here they came out of nowhere. From a lot of people thought they're just doing 3 games, that's it, and they come out swinging with 3 games, which is great. And they also help support a YouTube channel to say like, here, do our games. So it was really, really fun watch, and I'm really happy for them.
Cool. Greg, you have any thoughts about these 3 games and any excitement around any of them?
I didn't really know too much about them, so I mean, the gameplay looks like it could be kind of interesting. I'm not really into the live combat versions of those, but I don't know if there's definitely like a demo or something. I would definitely be taking a closer look at them. Don't really, other than that, I don't really know too much about it.
all 3 of these games already are on the Switch eShop. So you can, if you want to play them digitally, you can actually play them. There might even be demos, but this is actually bringing the games to physical for the first time, which is really cool because it preserves them forever. And it's like Paradise Killer is kind of cool because it almost looks like an old school like DOS game. I like when they try to mimic those styles.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a demo, that would make it much easier. But I don't even remember these games even releasing on the eShop. So that just
there's so many.
There's so much games there. So could be
just so many
Diamond
games
in the Rough,
lost.
or it could just be something else.
Right. Yeah, I think I think I'm more on the lines with this is really cool, and I think it's great. Companies like this and Premium Edition and all these other games that are companies that are coming together to give these games not only life that will last. As Barry said many times, I mean, if it's just digital, then it could go away at any point. But also, I think it's awesome what all of them are doing for some of these indie developers that are being able to see their game like right on the shelf, right next to Breath of the Wild. That's awesome, and so that's so cool to see more of these companies popping up to be able to give that experience. And for collectors, I know it makes it a lot harder because you have a whole lot more games to collect. But it's also really cool. And for those, there are probably some developers out there, or not developers, collectors, Barry, that, I don't know if you know any that maybe even specialize just in the indie kind of games. And that's really cool for them too.
Yeah, there's plenty, and there's one of those things like going to Play NYC all these years, and just like talking to developers, and that's always a dream for them. Like, oh, I love to get my game physical. Like that'd be the dream, but it's so hard and so difficult, and a company, a publisher, really has to take a chance on your game. It's a lot of money to go in and produce a physical, and a company's not really going to do that unless they think they can become profitable. I mean, that's business 101. You want to make profit, so it's not every game is going to be like, oh, that's worth a physical. I'm sorry, it may be a fun game, but we don't think we can make money on it. It's got to be detrimental sometimes to developers, and it sucks. And it's a message that I think all publishers have had to say before. But it's one of those things to see some of these games get a new life, and these have been out in the Switch, and we missed it because there's so many games. Every end of every episode when we talk about what games coming out, there's all these games just flooding with games, and it's just lost in the sea of games. So this kind of brings new attention to them, which is great.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to our next story. We got a lot to cover in a very short amount of time tonight. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about the Monster Hunter news.
Okay, so there was like that director, I guess, whatever you call it, presentation, and so I'll
Digital
pretty much just be digital event. So there was like a press release that they sent out that kind of summed up everything. So it revealed 2 new trailers for Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, and Monster Hunter Rise. Series producer and the director provided details on what's in store for each title. The latest trailer shows first look at the mysterious light causing monsters to enter an enraged frenzy, along with familiar faces in the original Monster Hunter Stories. So pretty much it gives you a closer look on what will happen. Game will launch later on Nintendo Switch and PC on July 9th. As for the Monster Hunter Rise fans, the showcase a second free title update for the game, which will be available to players to download and play later today. There's a version 3.0 update, which introduced 2 more monsters to the game, and a new ending for the game's storylines, new quests, new weapon and armor, skills, and more. So it's pretty much just an outline to show that Monster Hunter Rise and let's see, and the Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, are be coming out later on. So I don't know if you guys watched it or really into it, but I haven't really followed Monster Hunter series since Wii U.
Yeah. think for me, it's definitely one of those things that I mean, it's so great, and I think all of us are kind of at a similar place with Monster Hunter. It's a great title. I know a lot of people enjoy it, but yeah, it's so much to jump into, and Monster Hunter stories, all those things are great. But for me, it's the news that just kind of, it happens, and I'm excited for people, but nothing really stood out to me. I don't know about you, Barry.
I didn't really enjoy Rise for the demo, and I know some people love it, and I'm happy for them. But Stories 2 did stick out. I really wanted to play the first Stories, and I just never got around to it. But Stories 2 just looks better and better. It's more traditional RPG, which is something I really enjoy. So I plan to play it. I just don't know if I'll be able to play it at launch. I don't really know what the time is going to be like. There's still games I plan to play that I'm still behind on, but I'm really happy for Monster Hunter fans, and it's nice to see Capcom giving such love to the Switch after Monster Hunter World was exclusive to PS4 and Xbox, and it was just like, oh, Switch gets nothing, but now they're getting the polar opposite. Now Switch is getting a lot of love.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see them supporting it a lot more because, yeah, like you said, it seemed like they weren't really going to get much, and Nintendo fans didn't really get much, but for a while. But yeah, it's cool to see them come back, and I think something like the Switch Pro or whatever it ends up being called, of course, it could really benefit from a game like Monster Hunter could really benefit from the extra power that the next system could give it, and hopefully we see more and more support for Monster Hunter, and all those fans be pretty excited about it as well. Let's move on to our next story. Little Dragon Quest 35th anniversary happened. Barry, tell us about that.
Yeah, so Dragon Quest had their presentation. It was like 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, so it was a late one.
It's true. I
And
totally missed it and had to
the,
read you guys' thoughts later.
yeah, there was we did talk about it in our events channel and Discord as it happened. Um, I mean, the worst part about it was by far the translator, because I feel like this was a pre-recorded presentation, and one translator for two people is never a good thing. And the translator feels like they were super nervous, constantly messing things up, monotone. Like it was that part was very bad. However, the announcements were, for the most part, very good. They announced Dragon Quest 12, The Flames of Fate. No systems or date yet. It definitely seems early, but that was announced. A beautiful HD 2D remake of 1988's Dragon Quest 3 is coming to consoles. It's going to be produced by the Octopath Traveler producer. So the odds are this is coming to Switch. I don't see why it wouldn't. It just looks absolutely gorgeous, and for a lot of people, it's the highlight. There was also Dragon Quest Treasures, which is a spin-off RPG, and it features Eric and Mia from Dragon Quest 11. So if you have played Dragon Quest 11, which you should because it's amazing, you got two of those characters back. It's a prequel though, because it's talking about the childhood, and it's a spin-off, so it's not the main line or anything like that, but it looks like a fun little game. Again, no platforms, but Dragon Quest 11 was on the Switch. I don't see why this wouldn't. They also announced puzzle game called Dragon Quest Poppy. It's a free-to-play mobile game. It's on iOS and Android. It is getting a worldwide release as well. And then there was the final two announcements, which were Dragon Quest X, which is the online MMO, is getting a brand new expansion, and that is Japanese only, with no plans to bring Dragon Quest X over. However, they also announced Dragon Quest X Offline, which is going to be a standalone, single-player Dragon Quest RPG telling the story of the MMO. That one specifically didn't say no worldwide release planned, but they also didn't announce a worldwide release. So there's a chance, and I'm hoping it comes to be, that the rest of us get to at least experience that version of Dragon Quest X, because not everybody has time for an MMO or a second MMO. So it'd be nice to get that story and find the missing piece of the link if you've played all the Dragon Quest games.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the big thing that stood out to me was that remake, the HD remake. It looks a lot like Octopath Traveler and that style, and absolutely looks fantastic. And you guys know, like, there's some games that I maybe wouldn't give a chance for, but if it looks awesome, like that. I am a sucker for really good aesthetics in games, and that one looks beautiful. So yeah, if nothing else, like I know the story is going to be great and everything too, but yeah, I wanna be able to experience that world more. So that was the big one that stood out to me for sure. Greg, what do you think about this?
I'm just really excited. I absolutely love the Dragon Quest series, and I really hope that it's coming to Switch. And um, kind of just like a little memory jog, I remember that 11 was announced for Switch. That was like the first game that was revealed. So I'm really hoping that this is points that they didn't want to reveal the platform yet because the platform doesn't exist, like the Switch Pro. So that would be incredibly awesome to know that that would be coming if that's the case. I mean, obviously, I would prefer it stays with the Nintendo platform, as pretty much all the games are on there now. So it would be nice to have 12 there and remake of 3, which is one of my favorites. So I definitely look forward to hopefully play those at some point on whichever version of the Switch it's on.
Yeah, yeah. Barry, do you have any further thoughts?
I mean, I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. I am excited for most of these. I mean, I could do without the mobile game, but I totally understand. Spin-off, fine, whatever. Treasures looks interesting, and since I really enjoyed Eric and Mia's story, which I won't really get into detail because it could lead to spoilers, and I love Dragon Quest XI's world, I'm definitely excited to go back into that. Dragon Quest 12, I mean, I haven't seen anything. It just looks darker, but I love the mainline Dragon Quest game. So whatever system it's on, I plan to play it. Hopefully, the Switch or Switch Pro is included in that, and of course, Dragon Quest 3. It's just kind of weird that they chose 3 only because Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 already exist on this system, but it almost now parallels the Mana games because you can get Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, the mobile versions, in 2D, and then you're getting a remake of 3. Like you can play the Collection of Mana, which is the first 3 Mana games in 2D, and then the Trials of Mana 3D remake. So it's kind of like a parallel between both two Square series now on the Switch.
That, huh? I didn't even think about that, but that's true. Just going to the chat.
Like the,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, wasn't like Dragon Quest 3 like the remakes didn't really initially make it over here in the U.S. until they put it on the Switch, like when they did it for Game Boy Color.
No, I mean Dragon Quest was originally NES as Dragon Warrior 3, and then they did the Game Boy Color remake.
I have all 3 of those cartridges. Yeah.
Yeah, but they also put it on the Switch, but it's the mobile version. But it's like a remake. It's like a 2D version. But you can get on the Switch, and there's a physical Asian cart and Japanese cart that's in English of 1, 2, and 3. So if you want to own it physically, you can own all 3 original, and you could put it right next to that Dragon Quest 3 HD, which I'm assuming will get a physical.
Nice. Just going back to the chat real quick, kind of get caught up a little bit. GriffinX says more stories is more his speed in terms of Monster Hunter. And then Hassan's joining us, and you guys are talking about a little story that we're going to hit in the headline just a little bit later, so we'll kind of keep that as a spoiler, I guess, for those of you guys that are listening later after the fact. Looks like Dragon Quest, Dave started playing some Dragon Quest theme music in the back when we started talking about that, and that's fun. And then, yeah, everybody's pretty much saying, yeah, the 3 HD 2D looks amazing. And then, yeah, more worldwide releases are also good. And then
Hassan has a little says, thing there.
A couple insiders are now saying that there's a retail listings for Switch Pro that may go live at midnight on Friday. So a Thursday reveal seems likely now, which is interesting. I guess technically, would that make my prediction wrong if it happens before E3?
Yes.
Yes, because this was for
June 12th to 15th.
I guess it could. Although maybe the official announcement is happening at E3, but all these retailers are just blowing it. That's what's
no. There'll be an official announcement before retailers will go live. So if it doesn't happen between June 12th and 15th, your prediction's wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I saw the rumor saying that they were gonna announce the Switch Pro before E3, just so like all the developers can spend time on the games for. So that's why I stayed clear of the system announcements.
Okay.
You know what? I would even accept if it announced that IGN's thing or Jeff Keighley's thing, which happened like the day or 2 days before E3, as part of that E3 bubble. I would accept it then too. But if it happens this week, that's too far out.
Well, either way, it's inevitable. It's going to be happening. Dragon Quest 3 is a classic. Dragon Quest 12 is Unreal Engine 5. Dave says lots of great conversation around Dragon Quest. So it looks like we have some big fans of Dragon Quest in the chat tonight. Hassan says it's definitely happening before E3. Bloomberg and Eurogamer basically confirmed that. Didn't Bloomberg confirm it like 3 years ago? I remember reading that 3 years ago that Bloomberg confirmed Switch Pro is happening or something.
I'm holding you to that, Hassan, that it's definitely happening before E3.
Definitely happening because he wants me to be wrong. Actually, it's probably, if it definitely happens then, and like retail, who knows? Maybe it's gonna be released before holiday this year.
Maybe
you can actually order it right away, which would be crazy. Let's move on because it's still a lot to cover, and then if time allows, we can get back into the Switch Pro rumors and everything later. But Greg, tell us about this Sonic event that happened, and we got a little bit of announcements around what's coming up in the Sonic world.
Yeah, so we discussed a lot of the Nintendo anniversaries a little earlier on. So for Sonic's 30th anniversary, Sega hosted the first ever Sonic Central. Just obviously it was a celebration for Sonic. So they revealed a plethora of upcoming entertainment experiences starting Sonic. Said that there's an upcoming Netflix animated series, Sonic Prime. And then they obviously said nothing would be complete without some music. So they played some of the music. There's going to be a live orchestra event on June 23rd featuring music from all the games from all over the 30 years. There's going to be a special preview with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest kickoff live on June 10th. Pretty much after that, they went into Sonic Colors Ultimate and Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps. And Ultimate is an adrenaline-pumping remaster of the beloved 2010 platformer Sonic Colors. There's a debut trailer that they showed for that. Ultimate. Now I'm catching Steve's can't talk.
Oh, sorry.
Sonic Colors Ultimate is set to release both digitally and physically on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. There's a digital only on PC. Let's see, you can pre-order that today. And I think that was mostly Sonic Origins is working on a new compiled series that includes Sonic Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and Sonic CD. The new Sonic team game, there's like a new journey for the next flagship Sonic title from the Sonic team. Tokyo 2020, Sonic is headed to the Olympic Games, so there's another Olympic game event for that with Mario presumably. Yeah, so it's pretty much just a bunch of upcoming Sonic stuff. There's like a mobile game coming. There's a hospital game coming as well. So I was going to read through everything. So I don't know what you guys found interesting out of here or what you're excited about.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm not excited about anything.
What? Seriously?
I'm really not. Yeah,
you don't like Sonic?
I don't know why, but Sonic has been one of those series that has just progressively gotten less and less exciting for me. Like I'm also more of a 2D Sonic fan. So 2D is exciting, but you can only, I don't know. I feel like you can only, well, they've only done so much with 2D Sonic, and with Mario, it seems like they're taking him into new directions all the time, and it's exciting. But I don't know. It's just not grabbing me like it once did. I was always excited about the next Sonic game to come out, and I think because there's been some duds in there too, it's just kind of killed my excitement level in the past, and I don't know how this game's going to turn out. I don't know how. Like Sonic Colors was good. Do I want to buy it, play it again? Probably not. But it's cool that it's getting remade, and a lot more people can enjoy that. That's awesome. But the other one that's kind of coming out, is it 2022? That the other one's coming
Yeah.
out, like that's cool, but I don't know. The 3D ones are kind of hit or miss for me, and so I really don't know. The hospital one's just weird, but it almost kind of I don't know. It's just weird, but
Well, that's just DLC for 2 Point Hospital, which is already out on the Switch.
yeah, it's just weird that like Sonic of all, and it looks weird too.
Yeah.
It's just strange. But yeah, I think when Sonic gets announced, I don't get excited. I have to wait until I hear people that have tried it and played it and maybe get some hands on myself before I get excited. Just because I think I've been burned in the past from it. So I don't know.
See, I figured you would be excited for at least Origins, because Sonic 1, 2, and
I've
CD
played those
were
games so many
redone,
times.
but they were redone by Christian Whitehead in HD, widescreen, the whole 9 yards. And that's when he was able to do Sonic Mania, because he did such a good job. So these are his versions of these games. And it seems he's also now being able to come back and do Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which Sonic 3 and Knuckles hasn't had a re-release since the Xbox Live Arcade days because of the music, licensing deal and all that bull crap with Michael Jackson. So to get all these, and granted, I wish the collection was more, but to get the HD versions of these titles is awesome, to get them on Switch, just to see them come back and be able to play them as they properly should be played in beautiful HD. Colors is one of those ones too that I played just a little bit of it, but I'm happy to see it come back. I do find it funny, however, that if you buy this physically, you're getting a freebie. You're actually getting a free little bonus. That free little bonus is a keychain of Baby Sonic from the Sonic movie. However, it's not the redone Sonic. It's the original version that the fans backlashed, and they must have made this merchandise that they now couldn't use. So they're taking this merchandise and they're throwing it in every copy of Sonic Colors as a freebie to move this merchandise that they had made that they now couldn't do anything with. So if you buy it physically, you do get a young baby Sonic from the movie, from the first version of the movie, as
Like a
a
reason
free
not to get
bonus.
it.
But I think that's interesting.
Should scare some people with
And the new Sonic game, I am excited for, even though they've been like not the greatest. Like Forces was not the greatest, and I felt they could have done more with it. I still enjoyed my time, so I'm not 100% it, but I do plan to play it. I am. And it's interesting that the Olympic Games was announced to come here, because that's one that came out last year for the Olympics that were canceled, and I have it already. It was released in Asian territories, so it's in English, so it already exists. It's just interesting that they're still calling it the 2020 Olympics. They're not changing the name of the game to 2021, which
Are the
I find
Olympics
weird.
themselves still being called the 2020 Olympics? So that
I
because
don't know.
the
They
official
might be.
game for the Olympics is also called 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. Like, it might
yeah,
still be called
so
the 2020
yeah,
Olympics.
so in addition to the Sonic and Mario one, but the official game, like it's actually
Yeah.
like real athletes, is
Yeah.
also called 2020. So I think that might be just a
That
play
might
on
be.
that.
But it's interesting that gets announced and there's a Sonic thing with it. I'm also super excited for the concert. I love Sonic music, and I really love the Sonic themes, the vocal themes. And Crush 40 is going to be at the Sonic concert, and it's a free concert. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think Sonic the Hedgehog honestly has some of the best theme music in video games. And it sounds so weird to say, but like I'll still sing Live and Learn, and like that just really just pulls me in from Sonic Adventure 1, and Escape from the City from Sonic 2, and Sonic Colors, and like all these things, even Fist Bump from Hoobastank, which was Sonic Forces, and it's just endless possibilities from Sonic Colors. We're talking about that. Like, there's so many great songs that if you haven't heard Sonic themes, like you probably should, especially if you like rock and punk. It's totally not what you would expect for Sonic the Hedgehog, but it works.
Right.
But I'm happy about these announcements for sure.
Yeah. And those original games have amazing music as well. I remember going to the video games orchestra. I forget what that's called.
Video Games
But
Live.
video games live, yeah. And just when they started doing Sonic music, it was so cool just to hear that live. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah. So people are chatting a lot about that. Dave's never played Sonic 3 CD or Colors. 3 and CD are great.
Oh yeah,
Colors is a solid game, but
Knuckles too.
three and CD are really good. Yeah, and 3 and Knuckles, really solid games. So definitely check those out. And it's a lot cheaper to get those games. Greg, any thoughts around the Sonic stuff?
Sounds like I need to listen to some music and try to locate a way to play some of those games. I've never really played a lot of
The
the
good
Sonic
thing is
games. I
they're
did.
readily available on pretty much every platform out there now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
and
yeah,
the original games play these Origin versions. They're gonna be HD on Switch.
yeah. I know I have the GameCube collection pack, and
Yeah.
not sure if I have any other packs that have come out since, but I definitely need to play more of it. The music I've heard, I always remember being really good, at least in those like first 2 or 3 games that I played. I definitely haven't played any of those 3D games, and I still remember the E3 that me and Steve were at. We played a Sonic game, and I didn't really be too impressed by it. I don't remember what that game was. 2013 or 14 when we went.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, would that have been Color? No, that wouldn't have been Colors. That would have been before that. I can't remember what that was. Looks like Jeffrey says Sonic Mega Mix on Switch confirmed. And then Sonic Forces song that came out for Infinite is amazing, Jesse says. Cool. So that's Sonic news, and then there's one little other announcement that happened just a couple days ago. Barry, what was that all about?
Yeah, so this past Friday, we had a little live announcement go live, on YouTube Premiere, which was Premium Edition Games. We had our second annual Direct, which was really cool to finally be able to reveal to the public, because we've been asked about for so long about some of our next games and what we're doing, and we've being tight-lipped in this industry is so hard, and this really yes, Jeff, this Direct was fun because I actually got to write the Direct, which I've been thinking about it for a while. So upon writing it, one of the things I had to do was absolutely come out of the cloud, being that I was thrown into a cloud for our first Direct because I didn't actually have an image. So I was thrown into a cloud. So they finally let me out of the cloud, which is awesome. And we all got new images and new artwork, which was a lot of fun. It became just a real cartoon. But we announced some really cool things. The first is, we teased before, Robot Named Fight is now getting a physical, and it absolutely will be coming out very soon. In terms of pre-orders, we have the pre-orders opening. So you fast forward in the video to get me out there.
Yeah.
But the pre-orders will be opening up June 15th. And a lot of people have been super excited for Robot Named Fight. It's 2D Metroidvania, roguelike. It's a 4 billion combinations. It's just an awesome game done by a really awesome guy. And to be able to bring this to the physical world is so cool. The art that we have for it is amazing. Some of it's showcased, but we have more to tease on that. And then, of course, the second game that we're bringing out in our Series 2 is Demon's Tier Plus. And that's also going up on June 15th for pre-order. And what we're doing is we're doing 4-week open pre-orders for the premium editions, which is great because this way people actually have time to get it and not rush. But what we're doing is for the pre-orders, we're giving you the slip cases that we've shown before. The slip cases are only for pre-ordered copies, and they're just a bonus, as our way of saying thank you if you pre-order during the window. If you do get our higher up models, the retro or the deluxe versions, like I showed the Pigeon Dev earlier tonight, you will get the slipcases there too. Demon's Tier Plus is almost like a twin stick shooter roguelike RPG. You get different classes, just a ton of fun. And we also teased Cathedral as our Series 3 game, or first Series 3 game. Cathedral is one of the highlights that I've had to play while doing premium. It's just this awesome 2D Metroidvania with like Shovel Knight type physics and gameplay, and it just like a little bit of Zelda thrown in there. It's just a ton of fun. It really is. And we also, because we started doing retro games, when we went back to Super Blood Hockey, which was our first ever release, and we decided to do a retro version of Super Blood Hockey. But instead of forcing everybody to buy the game again, we said, you know what? Let's just do an upgrade, make it $20, and you can pair it with your game that you already have if you want. We added a comic, and the comic is done by the artist that did the music, who happens to be a comic artist. And the story is done by him and the creator of the game. We also did a soundtrack with the CD sleeve is actually done also by the music composer, same guy. So we got to do the artwork for his CD as well as the CD, and we have put some unreleased tracks on there too that didn't make it into the game. Really, just making this complete package. Really awesome. And we did do a little update on our Kickstarter. The Kickstarter that we're a part of is Sunshine Manor. But we are releasing the Sunshine Anthology as a physical release, which includes Camp Sunshine. And those pre-orders actually close July 15th if you want the Kickstarter exclusive versions. It's just a really cool 2D horror game where Camp Sunshine is like, Jason, coming out of the lake, except it's a bear, and the bear is trying to kill you, and you got to try to survive the camp. And Sunshine Manor is just put into a manor, so they go like 2D Resident Evil style. It almost has like a Mother aesthetics, or Earthbound, if you don't know what Mother is. Really cool and awesome that we can be a part of that. And we just wanted to update everybody and do this direct. A lot of fun. We did a Q&A afterwards. A lot of people really happy about it. And I can't wait for June 15th, right after our next episode. The day our next episode, our pre-orders go live. So if these games sound interesting to you, especially Demon's Tier Plus and Robot Named Fight, they will go live. Please feel free to pre-order and get that extra slipcase if you're just getting the premium, or go for the higher models. Those are limited, however. Retro and Deluxe will be very limited. And if you haven't picked up Super Blood Hockey or Pigeon Dev Games Collection, we do still have some copies left. They are running out. They are running out especially faster now that the Super Blood Hockey upgrade is out there for retro. And I definitely recommend checking out premiumeditiongames.com to pick those up. And I'm not biased at all, but I do love those games.
You're a little biased, but you'd be that way
just a
even
little.
Even
if as a collector.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just have double bias this time.
Double bias.
Yeah. I love what you guys do. What I said earlier about the other company too. I think the same thing about you guys. Like, I think it's so cool that you guys are, being able to put these physical, copies out there, and the extra work that you guys put in. I love all the stuff. It's honestly like not as a physical collector, but it's definitely tempting when you put all those extra things in there, like the slipcover, the books, all the artwork, the CDs. I'm like, all right, you're making it very, very tempting for me for sure. So it's, and yes, of course, the premium game, the guides too. So yeah, pretty cool. The one game that actually, when you guys were showing off, I had not heard of somehow was Cathedral. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested in this game. So a game, of course, this already exists, right? But like, I learned about it from Premium Edition Games, so it's kind of cool. Didn't realize that it existed. So yeah, it may be one that I end up checking out, and possibly might get the physical version eventually. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Greg, what's your thoughts about all these announcements from Premium Edition?
Honestly, that's really great what Barry does with all of that. I'm just kind of sad to say I didn't have time to watch it. I was away for the weekend, and I know that's not really an excuse, but I do plan to watch it this week and try to see more about what was announced and covered, and possibly put some pre-orders in, whatever. So.
Well, I will stop you there, Steve, and say it's not just me at all. Our team is amazing, and Jeffrey does an amazing work on the production side and getting things and keeping things running, and just Erica with her designs, and Steve with the books, and just everybody, JP with the marketing. Frank is awesome on our social media. Just with everybody as part of this team, we really are the ones who pull it together. So it's absolutely not just me. But I will say, I had no idea about Cathedral either. I had no idea until Jeff brought it to me and said, "Hey, we're talking about Cathedral, Sonic Cathedral. What do you think?" I'm like, "I've never heard of this thing." He's like, "Here, play it. What do you think?" And I played it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this game is amazing! Like, sign this, yes, now." It really took me by surprise. I'm like, how did I not know about this game? It is just, and I'm not the only one, and you're not the only one. When we did it live, so many people were like, "What's this? Where did this come from? This game looks amazing. The soundtrack is awesome, and it just looks like such a fun game." And it is. And I'm so happy for the developer, because actually the developer was there that night and got to talk to some of these people, and like he was just like seeing this praise because he was overseas, and he stayed up to like 4 a.m. to be a part of this, and was just like, "Oh my god, thank you for the praise on my game," which is awesome. That's what we love. We love to bring that praise to these developers because they absolutely deserve it. And yeah, I'm glad that his game is now getting a new life, and we could help with that because it deserves it. It is very good.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat. Jesse just said, "Yeah, lineup was solid. Same. Wasn't aware of Cathedral." So that's yeah. I'm glad to hear that I'm in good company there, because I was like, "How have I not known about this game?" So it looks great, and apparently plays great as well. So that's really cool. But we still have a few more headlines to hit really quick before we move kind of into the near the end of tonight's episode. But let's start us off with a little news that totally caught me off guard. Didn't realize this was going to happen. But any fans of the Super Mario Brothers movie? Anybody? We actually have a few. There's a few fans. Okay, yeah. Well, good to know, because there's another version out there. Apparently, there was an extended rough cut, and someone found it a few years ago, I guess, on VHS and everything. And so now the Internet Archive, the people that are behind actually preserving the Super Mario Brothers movie archive team, because there's a team out there that does that, which is awesome. They actually got the that extended cut, and it's got, I think, an extra 20 minutes of the movie that's there, and so now it is available. You can watch it on the Internet Archive, and you can also download it. So it is available there. So check that out. We'll throw that in the show notes and things like that too. There's also a restoration commentary. Link to that is on that page too, so you can check that out and see what those extra 20 minutes are all about. Yeah, you better grab it just in case some people go crazy and don't like it being up there. So head over there right away. Again, we'll throw the link in the show notes and the YouTube description after the podcast is over.
In other news for Nintendo, like they like to just shadow drop stuff like news lately. They do it like Paper Mario on the Switch, and new Pokemon Snap and stuff like that. Well, they did it with another Pokemon game, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl. They just randomly one day were just like, "Oh, it's May 26th. Let's just drop the release date for these Pokemon games. Even though E3 is right around the corner, let's just drop them now." So November 19th, 2021, Pokemon comes out, the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which of course remakes of Diamond and Pearl on the DS. Really random that they're doing this, but now we know what our holiday Pokemon game is. On top of that, they revealed the physical box art, as well as that there will be a double pack. But that's not all. They also decided, hey, you know what? It's May 26th. Let's announce another one, which is Pokemon Legends Arceus, with the open world Breath of the Wild style Pokemon game, is getting a release of January 28th, 2022. So we really don't have to wait that long. This is really short turnaround between two Pokemon games. And yes, Game Freak is doing Legends, and the different team is doing the remakes. So that's probably one of the reasons for it. But still, just instead of waiting until E3 or Nintendo presentation or even a Pokemon Presents, they just decided, let's just drop these release dates out of nowhere, and they're all pre-orderable right now.
So we got the sales numbers for April coming in. So Matt Scatella of NPD said the Nintendo Switch was the best-selling hardware platform, both in units and dollars during the month of April, and is along with for 2021 year to date. So pretty much, he also mentions that the video game hardware dollar sales fell 30% when compared to April of 2020 last year. So even though stores are kind of reopening, I guess it still fell since last year. For software, MLB The Show 21 was the number one selling game for April. If you're just looking for Nintendo published titles, new Pokemon Snap was top selling at number 3, even though it released just on the 30th of the month. The rest of the top 20 for Nintendo had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 10, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury at 13, New Horizons at 15, 3D All-Stars at 16, Smash Ultimate at 17, Pokemon Sword and Shield at 19, Breath of the Wild at 20. So as Steve was scrolling through, the top 10 for Nintendo platforms only had Pokemon Snap at number 1, Monster Hunter Rise at 2, Mario Kart 8, pretty much the same order I went through, except Super Mario Party was all the way down at number 10.
Nice. A little bit of breaking news. No, it's not Nintendo's E3 announcements. Actually, Nintendo announced a Nintendo Gallery that's going to be happening in Japan. It's a new museum that they're going to be opening in March 2024. And apparently, they took over this manufacturing building, I believe, and yeah, they're going to be putting in this museum, so kind of be able to see the history of Nintendo they started out as this card company, as most of you guys know, and yeah, kind of through the history of where they are today. The plant was built in 1969, known as the Uji plant. I believe it seems like again, this is breaking, so I'm just kind of still learning about this, but it seems like I think that was the plant where they started creating the cards. I believe that's maybe that same building, that same manufacturing building. I think this facility, and so yeah, by March 2024, you'll be able to go to the Nintendo Gallery to be able to check out the history of Nintendo and see that in a museum. So yeah, if Super Nintendo World wasn't enough reason to go to Japan, now you can go to the Nintendo Gallery and see the official Nintendo Museum. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be looking into tickets in 2024. So yeah, any thoughts about any of those announcements, Greg? Any further thoughts?
That's another reason to go to Japan, as you alluded to. So it'd be nice to be able to visit that promised land at some point.
Absolutely. Barry, any closing thoughts on any of the news stories?
Yeah, so I'm really happy about the Mario movie thing. It's actually something I followed for a bit and saw some of like the comparisons between the footage that they had found and like the stuff that was actually made it into the movie. Like there's one scene in the movie where Mario is just, I think it's Mario is like suddenly on the floor and like it's just like in the background and there's no explanation for it. But in the deleted scenes, you see what happens. Like I think it was like a Goomba like blew up or something and like there was slime on the floor and Mario slips on it and falls and that whole part is like cut out, but then the next scene is still there and has Mario on the floor from falling. And I was like, that's really weird. I never noticed it was on the floor in that scene in the theatrical movie that I've seen quite a bit of times. So I'm happy to see the full version. I think it's great that they're doing that. Yeah, I expected the Pokemon to be in the holidays, so that's cool. But I did not expect Legends to be that soon in 2022. So I'm really looking forward to that one. NPD Sales, that's always good. Glad to see Nintendo doing really well. And as for the museum, that's awesome. I love video game history. I've always loved video game history, and especially Nintendo history. I love looking into what they've done and interested to see what kind of artifacts they have there because I'm sure they're going to have a lot. I, as a collector, I love
Barry. You can't steal
I
it.
want to take a lot of the stuff. I'm curious to see what I have that will wind up in the museum, and if I wind up having something that they don't have on display, that's what I'm interested to see. But I love that people can learn about video game history and Nintendo's history because it's over 100-year-old company. There's a lot to it, and I love that. I love making this normal. Museums to study animals and cultures is normal. Let's get museums to study video games too, and culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I've already downloaded my copy of Super Mario Brothers. Just gonna set it some time aside to, go and watch those extra 20 minutes sometime soon, and then eventually get on booking a ticket to Japan. Uh, yeah. Also, surprised Arceus is coming that soon. Let's move on to the next and final section of our podcast, what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks. Before we do that, just one more quick reminder: follow us on social media, hit the follow button, hit the share button, hit all the buttons, and make sure you're sharing this with others and subscribing and everything if you haven't done so yet. Also, join our Discord. Again, those links are going to be in the show notes and also the description here on YouTube. But some games are coming out the next couple weeks, as they always do. But some pretty notable games are coming out over the next couple weeks. Not as there's some really big games coming out in like 4 weeks from now. But some pretty big games are coming out over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be scrolling those on the screen. What we're going to be seeing, and you guys can see this if you're watching the video version on YouTube, of course. But some games to take note of, at least that I did, was DC Superhero Girls. It's coming out. Teen Power coming out on June 4th. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. I think there's two different versions. There's the regular version and the definitive edition or something like that. Comes out on June 10th. Game Builder Garage comes out on June 11th. We talked about that a lot on our last podcast, kind of being a game development app that Nintendo is putting out, kind of come out of nowhere. What are you guys looking forward to over the next couple of weeks? Maybe it's some games on this list, or maybe it's going to be games that have already come out and you're kind of working your backlog before some of the big games come out in a few weeks. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, so my plan is to finish Danganronpa 4 or 402, and then before going into any of the other games, probably shoot for World Ends Club, which just came out, and I didn't want yet to play it right away, but I'm looking forward to it. I know it didn't get the best of reviews, but I don't care. I definitely want to give that game a shot. And looking at the games coming out, the DC game, it doesn't interest me, but it's interesting that it is actually published by Nintendo. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection looks awesome, and I'm happy that's at least getting a Asian English release. And Game Builder Garage, we talked about last time, just looks cool, but I don't know if I'm going to jump right into it. But especially between Final Fantasy 14, doing games for the Playcast, as well as World Ends Club, and then Danganronpa. I still have V3 and the Ultra Despair Girls.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
Probably mostly just continuing on the never-ending backlog set of games. I do wish to pick up Game Builder Garage at some point. It does seem like it'd be a ton of fun to play out and even kind of experiment with game development a bit. I'm even pretty certain that my daughter will probably get a lot of joy out of that, even just playing anything that I were to make out of it, or just finding stuff that other people make. So I think that would be a pretty worthwhile kind of thing to look into.
That's cool. Yeah, speaking of Game Builder Garage, I did see that I don't think it's Nintendo made, but I think someone actually did create a site that you can submit your games to, and I guess and share it that way. So that's cool. I guess it's gonna fill that void that I think Nintendo should have done it themselves. But hey, it works. Yeah, actually, there's the Olympic Games right there. But yeah, I think I'm going to be working that backlog too, and hopefully get in a few other demos. That was one of the things that I did realize a few days ago, and kind of led to what I did for this last couple weeks was I take a look at a lot of those demos that have been sitting on my Switch for a while, and said, hey, it's time to play those and actually experience what those games are about, and see if I actually want to get the full game. So that's what I did last couple of weeks, and probably going to be doing more of that. I have the World's End Club on the demo as well. Was actually planning on playing that yesterday, and ended up getting sucked into the game that we're going to be reviewing next podcast, which is the Long Ago a Puzzle Tale. Played that a lot more than I expected to, and so didn't actually get a chance to get World's End Club yet. So
Speaking of that
checking it out.
game,
Yep, we do.
be a good idea to remind people.
We do have a giveaway. If you would like to win a copy of Long Ago, a Puzzle Tale, be sure to check out our Twitter at NintendoFuse, and we will be able to give you all the instructions very, very soon, and you could win a copy of that game, and we're going to be giving that away in episode 231, episode 231, which we're going to be live, going live on June 15th, and that's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time that day, which is an hour earlier than we normally go live. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at NintendoFuse. You'll be able to see all the instructions of how to win a copy of that game on there. It'd be something like I said, retweet, share this and that sort of thing, and also share and or the developers and all that. We'll make it really clear. You do those things, you'll be entered into that drawing, and your name might be announced at our on our next podcast on 231, and you'll win a copy of Long Ago a Puzzle Tale. So yeah. Well, and we're also going to give our further review and thoughts and everything in a fun game chat on our next episode. So really excited about that. And again, thank you so much to the developers and publishers for being able to give us that opportunity to not only review the game, but also to give a copy away to you guys. So let's wrap up with just kind of a couple closing thoughts. What's been coming up in general for you guys over the next couple weeks? Greg, any big things coming up on the horizon other than checking out E3 and maybe ordering your Switch Pro?
No, I'm pretty sure that about sums up what I hope to be doing in the next 2 weeks. Really excited to play some more Age of Calamity, especially with hopefully get to keep the free DLC, but I guess we'll see how that works out.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't get my chance to get any. It's so sad. I had to create an Australian account. I didn't have one, but it was all.
I had to create one too.
It's too late. It's too late by the time I figured it out. Yeah.
You gotta be on our Discord, Steve.
Well, I was.
We had the heads up on the time, and
it landed at the wrong time. I just wasn't able to, make it all happen. So, how dare they, have a glitch in the system at the wrong time?
For shame, bastards.
Barry, anything coming up in your world over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm gonna be quite busy. Now we're doing promotion circuits for the new games coming out, for new pre-orders. So in addition to the next playcast, which will be recorded later this week, which will be on Awesome P1 and 2, again, you can get in our Pigeon Dev Games collection. I'll also be on Let's Get Gaming this Saturday with Jeff. We will be doing that. Looking forward to that. And then also Monday, I'll be recording Nintendo Drama with them. So I don't know if they will go live Saturday and Monday. That's just when the recording is. It might be a couple days before they actually go live. But looking forward to being a guest on their shows, and just love talking games. Just excited about them. Cool.
I just noticed I was like, we should probably, for those of you guys that are in the chat, I'm just going to, I don't know if it'll do this well or not. I'm going to copy and paste that the Super Mario Brothers link in there, and maybe you guys will be able to use it. I don't know if sometimes links don't work very well in YouTube chat, so we'll see how it works. But we'll definitely have it in there later. Yeah, I mean, other than looking out for the Switch Pro and all those other things, I'm probably going to be getting some time in with Super Mario Brothers. I'm actually going to be traveling. I'll be out of the country during E3, which is kind of weird. E3 came back, and I had a trip out of the country, so I'm going to be playing catch up once I get back. Actually get back on the 14th, so most of the day on the 15th, I'm going to be playing catch up from everything that was announced while I was out of the country, and then hopefully be ready for our podcast. So just a heads up, you guys might need to fill me in on anything I missed or didn't catch because I was trying to watch 5 days of information in a 12-hour period. But we'll see how that goes.
Especially since a lot of that will be way hours behind that you are then, so it'd be like.
Yep.
Could be like in the middle of the night, be like, oh, here's Nintendo's online event, like at
so true.
midnight or something your time.
I'm planning on watching Nintendo's event, of course, first, and then probably going to all of Dave's articles on NintendoFuse.com to fill me in on the rest. So, Dave, pressure's on. You need to fill me in by next podcast. Oh, he's awesome. I guarantee he's going to be doing it. So check out NintendoFuse.com for all those details, mostly by Dave. Way to go, Dave, for keeping us together on the blog side of things. Guys, it's been awesome to talk games with you again. A couple weeks from now, we're going to have E3 behind us. It's going to be crazy. Maybe we'll have Switch Pros in our hands. Who knows?
I doubt in our hands. That's very optimistic. You just went from predicting that it would be announced at E3 to now saying, "Oh, we'll have them in our hands."
Hey, if you can order it, who knows?
That doesn't mean you can have it.
I'm just ready for some exciting new things. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe Steve's trying to put the feeler out there to get us review units of the Switch Pro.
Yeah.
So we could have it in our hands because we'll be.
That'd be great. You see the actually, I don't know if you can see it behind me or not. The Switch or not the Switch, the 2DS XL is back there behind me. It's the only system that Nintendo has given me to review ever, and that one came out of the blue. I remember getting that in the mail. I'm like, what? They actually sent me hardware? This is a shock. And so, I remember getting that early. That was cool. But yeah, I doubt I'm going to get a Switch Pro, or any of us are going to get a Switch Pros for review. They're a little tighter with that stuff nowadays,
especially with COVID and the chip shortages and all that.
Absolutely. You're going to be charging even IGN probably. Oh, guys, it's always awesome to talk gaming with you. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Tonight was a longer episode, but we had a lot to talk about, and we're gonna be back, like I said, June 15th, an hour earlier for our live show. If you want to tune in live, be sure to do that at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time, just for episode 231. Then we'll be back to our regular schedule after that. But thanks again for tuning in. Have a great night, everybody. But you may be listening to this after the fact, and maybe it's daytime, so have a great day as well. But happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Happy gaming.